A lot of people like numbers, the kind of world we live in. Sometimes people prefer numbers and facts. So let's start with the facts, then I'll go into the real discussion of, because the topic today relates to human beings. And at the end of the day, the more passionate, more real, more original we are, I think it's more close to the reality. So, World Economic Forum and other bodies, after research, they think that it's going to take 257 years to close the gender parity or gender gap for women in overall economic participation. There are 72 countries where women are barred from opening a bank account. There are 35% of women worldwide who have faced physical or sexual violence or harassment, and 40% of women they report this violence coming from the family, and 60% of these things are actually not reported. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about some serious topics that affect our society, our social norms, especially related to women at workplace, and focused on women in STEM, science, technology, arts. And we are joined by some really fantastic and brilliant ladies today who are, I think, who are perfect fit for the session I wanted to have. They have done the journey. They're mothers, they're professionals, they deal with the society as it goes. So let's talk to them. Let's start. So I will request ladies to themselves introduce themselves. We have Nasteo, we have Nolwenn, and we have Treasa. So Nasteo, please introduce yourself. Tell the audience about yourself.
Thank you, Riz. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Riz, to provide us the possibility to do this podcast on 2 languages. So, as we discuss, I will continue our podcast in French. Bonjour tout le monde. Donc, je m'appelle Nasteo Aden. J'ai le plaisir aujourd'hui de vous rejoindre dans le cadre de ce podcast autour des femmes de la tech. Effectivement, comme vous pouvez tous le voir, donc de belles femmes réunies aujourd'hui, donc des paroles de femmes. J'évolue dans le métier des technologies dans le secteur de la cybersécurité. J'ai 31 ans, maman d'un petit garçon, et aujourd'hui, je souhaite prendre cette parole pour également montrer cet intérêt et cette possibilité de la présence des femmes et de la force des femmes dans nos métiers.
Merci beaucoup. Nolwenn, please, if you can introduce yourself and tell us about yourself.
Okay, so thank you, Riz. It is an honor to be with you today, and especially for this topic, gender equity and equality in STEAM, because tech is massive. It's not only cybersecurity, it includes also art, and that is just amazing for me. We create today our world for tomorrow, and unfortunately, as you said, there are so many things to do today to have very diverse team and a real gender equity for good inclusions. I think that's why it is the reason that United Nations decided it will be one of the SDG. So who I am, that it is a big question, you know. I think all of us, we have to answer to this question, and this is very hard. So I will share with you some information about me. I am a tech woman since a long time, more than 15 years now. But what it is important to know is I grew up in a small village in France, 600 people. And my city, the first city, was at 10 kilometers. So even if you are in France, you can be live in village, and then work in tech sector. That it is possible. This is the first thing I would like to share. And, you know, then I decided to do a bachelor electrical engineering, and I followed that by a business school because I wanted to work on electricity and energy efficiency. And for that, I worked for 30 years in a listed company, French listed company, very, very important in different markets, retail, industry, transport, in different departments, sales, marketing, strategy. I do a lot of things in this company. My last job was around e-mobility for the worldwide. But after 20 years, many things about me, and I decided to jump. I did a jump. Okay, I wanted to discover how we learn, because how we learn tomorrow is very important. So I did a university diploma around serious game, and I learned to learn now, and I help people to learn, and that is it's good. And now what I do, so I am in an amazing French company who is a leader in very amazing markets like fashion and automotive. We are 1,800 people over 34 countries, and me, I am in charge of sales effectiveness. So I am very happy to be here with you to share with you our struggle, our concerns, but also which action we can do to change that. And it's not a fatality. We can do something, each of us.
Thank you, Nolwenn. We have another brilliant tech lady joining us from Sweden, who is originally from another part of the Europe. Treasa, please, if you introduce us yourself to our audience, please.
Sure. Hi. I hope you can see me and hear me. I'm coming from a phone line. Great to see you, Riz, and guests, Nolwenn, etc. I'm delighted to be here. I'm actually from Ireland originally. And actually, when I was growing up, my career guidance was definitely very limited when I look at what is on offer today for girls and women in the roles of STEM and indeed STEAM. That's including art. It was never kind of suggested to the girls in our class about the possibilities of going into engineering or any STEM subject. I mean, women and girls were particularly good for teaching, for nursing, and these kind of traditional jobs. And now I'm a mother myself to 2 boys and a girl, and I see the possibilities for her that are so much richer and wider. And I just hope that one of the topics I know we're going to discuss today is getting, you know, girls ready to consider opportunities in STEM and to see the possibilities out there, and also to make sure that we are represented equally, because right now we are not. We fall very far short of that representation, both in the schools, in the board level, and actually even going to complete university subjects. So this saddens me a lot. I'm hoping not to repeat this for my daughter, and I'm looking forward to today's debate.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate your introduction. So just a quick point for the audience, especially in technology and also for the humanity. I personally believe that we all have one human language, and technology also has one language. So that's why on our session today, we understand each other. We also speak different languages, and that's the idea that whichever language we are comfortable with, we're gonna speak in that particular language. And that's why we have ladies from France and from Sweden and from Ireland, and one guy from Johannesburg, South Africa. So just a quick one, for the audience, sometimes for certain understanding, I would actually like to exactly read the textbook. So to me, gender bias is the tendency to prefer one gender over another. It's a form of unconscious bias or implicit bias, which occurs when one individual unconsciously or consciously attributes certain attitudes and stereotypes to another person or group of people. Primarily, this is happening against women, girls, or females as we go along on the topic. So I would like to start off the session with the first question. So Nasteo, tell me that about your concept of gender equity and gender equality.
Thank you, Riz. Ma vision de ce qu'est l'équité et de ce qui est cette notion importante de l'égalité et de l'équité dans nos métiers, je la définis aussi au travers de mon histoire. Pour continuer un peu cette présentation, je l'ai scindée pour que sur chacune de ces thématiques, je puisse également y mettre un peu de mon histoire. Je suis arrivée en France il y a maintenant presque 13 ans et demi. J'ai choisi de travailler dans les métiers de la tech parce que tout d'abord, c'est un secteur qui finalement, dans son ADN et dans son squelette, n'a pas de différenciation de qui manipule la technologie, qui manipule ou qui démarre cette technologie, qui fait fonctionner cette technologie. Mais fondamentalement, on sent cette différenciation parce que le nombre de personnes qui démarrent finalement cette technologie, si on peut utiliser le mot démarrer, qui implémentent cette technologie, mais on est sous-représenté en tant que femme. On est très, très, très largement sous-représenté. Et ce n'est pas parce que les métiers de la technologie sont inaccessibles, c'est parce qu'elles sont présentées comme masculins. Alors, cette notion de justement ce combat sur cette représentation et le combat pour l'équité, je la vis au quotidien, parce qu'aujourd'hui, en étant justement 14 ans, 13 ans après mon arrivée en France, en ayant évolué pas à pas, déjà en ayant eu ce premier point de différenciation auprès de l'école où nous étions que 5 filles dans ma promo, dont 2 en spécialisation de sécurité en dernière année et ont continué dans la spécialisation de la sécurité dans notre mode professionnel. On sent déjà que les taux se réduit déjà au niveau de l'école, avant même d'accéder au monde professionnel et de prendre cette casquette finalement d'ingénieur au quotidien, d'ingénieur avec un E au quotidien. Déjà, il y a un premier filtre qui est fait au travers de l'école. Donc voilà, on sent déjà au démarrage de notre vie professionnelle que finalement, la sous-représentation, elle est déjà aux portes des écoles. Enfin, dans ma vie professionnelle, maintenant, étant manager chez Sopra Steria, pour nommer ma société, il y a un vrai travail qui est fait. Un vrai travail de valorisation, d'inscription au travers déjà des associations qui militent pour l'égalité et l'équité des genres. Parce que j'associe toujours égalité et équité, c'est ça qui est aussi intéressant dans notre podcast. Et c'est pour ça qu'aujourd'hui, il y a toute cette dimension des deux mots qui sont joués, parce que parler simplement d'égalité sans mettre également l'effort sur l'équité, parce que l'égalité, ok, permet de monter des quotas, permet de monter un certain nombre de choses, parce que quand on parle d'égalité, on veut parler de quotas. Mais le problème, c'est que l'équité, il faut qu'on puisse avoir les armes nécessaires, et c'est là où l'équité est importante, c'est parce que ça va nous permettre de nous armer et de former, de démystifier les métiers, de pouvoir en fait finalement rendre accessible au travers de la valorisation, de la formation, de la présentation de rôles modèles, de tout un nombre d'outillages, d'associations. Donc tout le travail autour de l'égalité et de l'équité est fait autour de cela. Il y a quelques années, quand j'étais encore en école, le discours justement de valoriser et de féminiser les métiers était déjà posé. Aujourd'hui, ce qui est important aussi de noter, c'est que on a fait un vrai travail pour que les métiers de l'informatique soient féminisés. Sauf qu'aujourd'hui, il est important aussi de valoriser ces femmes et de pouvoir les monter également j'ai envie de dire, dans des postes à responsabilité. Ouvrir les portes, c'est une chose, ouvrir l'ascenseur, c'est aussi important. Voilà, donner accès à l'ascenseur. Donc c'est aussi ça aussi qui est important. C'est tout le travail qui est fait aujourd'hui aussi, c'est de mettre en lumière qu'il y a déjà une dizaine d'années, voire bien plus, parce que c'est vrai que moi, ma fenêtre de vision est sur ces 10 années, mais beaucoup de femmes font déjà ce travail pour nous. D'ailleurs, c'est ce qui m'a permis d'intégrer ces métiers-là. C'est parce que d'autres femmes nous portent et nous ont déjà porté et continuent de nous porter. Et le travail aujourd'hui que je fais au travers d'associations, au travers de mon quotidien, parce que mon quotidien est un peu plus nuancé aujourd'hui, puisque justement, j'ai à prendre des engagements de terrain déjà au travers de ma vie, mais aussi au travers de mon métier et de ma responsabilité aujourd'hui de manager d'équipe et de pouvoir avoir cette parité également au sein de mes équipes et au sein de notre travail et d'avoir ces nuances-là. Mais ce qui est important aujourd'hui, c'est de présenter aussi cette nouvelle forme d'égalité qui va à toutes les strates finalement de la hiérarchie, valoriser les femmes dans les postes à direction, dans les postes d'encadrement, dans les postes de formation, et de montrer que on intègre les métiers de la tech, pas simplement au pied de l'ascenseur, mais à tous les strates et à tous les étages finalement qui sont posés. Donc c'est là la nuance. La nuance, elle est, voilà, aujourd'hui, on est encore sous-représenté, un vrai travail est fait. Le travail supplémentaire aujourd'hui qui est à faire, c'est aussi nous permettre d'évoluer et de montrer beaucoup plus de féminisation dans les postes d'encadrement et des postes de direction. Merci, Riz.
D'accord, Nasto. Merci beaucoup. Nolwenn, please, if you can give us a bit of your point on gender equity and gender equality, and also tell us about your point of view on the gender bias.
Yeah. Thank you, Riz. First of all, I would say we are different. We have to admit that men and women are different. It's true, and it's a reality. What is very important for me, it is we are equal on rights. So we have to accept that when we said equality, it is equality on rights. We don't say we want to be equal, we want to be equal on rights. And that is true for everybody. So, and as Nasto explained, the thing is, the first, it is education. And as Treasa said, when she was young, she has no visions about the tech sector and the amazing sector it was, and that it is very sad. Fortunately, to be fair, I have parents who are very amazing. I had exactly the same education than my brother, and personally, I played cards when I was young, so it was very funny. And it is education, but it is also your environment. It depends where you grow. If you are in Africa or if you're in India, in China, in US, in Europe, it's completely different because we have our own history, and that there is an impact about which job you can do in the future. And some people try to explain us when we are young that there's some job for women and job for men, but it's totally wrong. It's not our chromosome who define our competencies. And that people just to remember that it is only my chromosome, and my chromosome should not define my job, should not define my pay also. So that's why me, I personally engage. And Nasto mentioned the glass ceiling, and it's true. It's very hard to be young woman in tech sector. I had exactly more or less the same. Even if I do a business school, we were only 10 women for 100 men because we're in B2B business school. And now it is class selling, and it is also word selling. Fortunately, and for that I am very happy, the United Nations decided to do great job, and our institution, our governments. I think you should remember that he for she campaign. And when Emma Watson mentioned the time is now, yes, time is now to do something for more equity between women and men. And there's also another great action, it is webs. so Web City Women Empowerment Principles. So it is a long time now these principles exist. And I think all company, and not only listed company, but also SME, startup, all company should consider that, because we know when you are a diverse team, you are more creative. If you are more creative, you innovate, and you really innovate, not just innovation, the real innovations. So for me, it is more gender equity and equal on rights.
Thank you, Nolwenn. Treasa, I'll come to you, and please, if you can give us your thoughts on your point of view on gender equity, gender equality, and also I'm also very keen to know about your point of view on the gender bias.
Sure, that's a lot of topics there, Riz. But just to break it down, I mean, as regards gender equity, when I hear that phrase, I think of the gender gap in terms of pay. And I was reading up in preparation for today, and you know, the World Economic Forum's Global Gender Gap Report from 2018 actually said that at the current rate of progress, the global gender gap will take 108 years to close. Right? So that means there is a pay inequality there that we're not even going to come close to solving in our lifetime. And that for me was quite a tough pill to swallow, when if you look at the subject gender equality, children from 67 countries were evaluated by two academics in the US. It was a US study, and they found that girls were just as good as boys at all STEM subjects. And equally, a 2016 Market Watch study looked at 21,000 students of middle school girls, and they appear to, and boys, and the girls appear to be better, in fact, than boys at using their skills to solve real world technology problems. However, at the age of 11, only 11% of girls were going to go into a STEM career. So as the other speaker, Nolwenn, mentioned, I mean, equality is, you know, it's more than a chromosome. We are actually as good as each other at certain subjects. Yes, some of us are stronger at writing, and some are stronger at art, and others are stronger at maths. But in all, it shows that girls are not necessarily weaker at these subjects, and we can compete with boys. So then you have to ask ourselves, what are we doing wrong so that we still have this problem today, that we're underrepresented, that even if we get into these roles, we're paid less for the same job? And I've started to think about that, and I've wondered, is it that there's a lack of role models? Like in history books, what do we hear about? We hear about the Einsteins. You know, we don't hear so much about the Florence Nightingales. We don't hear so much about Katherine Johnson, the NASA space scientist. The Code Breakers, which is a brilliant series on Netflix now, showing these forgotten women who were breaking codes in the world wars that men couldn't solve. And they had access to less education, because there and then women were not allowed into third level education. So there's something in society today that we need to fix. You know, we can't say it's the problem is solved. No, we need to think about how to encourage girls, and teenage girls in particular, into this subject area. And what do they need from us? Because a one size fits all obviously doesn't work. And just anecdotally, I've seen my 6-year-old daughter play lately on a Barbie app. Now you might think, well, yeah, so what? But actually it's quite important, because they say boys are straight into the Minecraft apps and these sort of gaming online apps, and they get into the IT world by learning, you know, what a computer program can do and how tech works. And then their mind goes, I want to create that, or I want to understand how this works. But cleverly, this Barbie app is actually kind of a version of Minecraft where you build up things. And I just thought that was really smart. So is the Lego that is pink smart, because it gets girls into traditionally boys subjects and teaches them about the building bricks that I think is needed to get them more interested in STEM later on.
Okay, thank you, Treasa. I think I love that you all have highlighted some very serious gap areas. Personally, you know, as a man, I believe that, well, if you ask me personally, and when I was in school, even till the college, I studied in a co-ed institution. There were always girls who were better than the boys who used to take first 5 positions. Till college, I've seen, and I find that especially in education or maths or science or arts or whatever, girls are in many cases more smarter. They're more intelligent because they're more focused. I think it's more historical rather than having role models, because there are plenty of role models. But I say as a man that women as a gender being persecuted, I will use this word. I don't care if men don't like it, but that's the truth. From the start. So it's been stereotyped that a girl or a female or a woman is supposed to cook food, stay at home, pardon me for being harsh, like a birth machine. But that's not the case, because it's the same woman who is your mother, who gave birth to you. She is your first school. Whatever the boy or girls learn, they learn from the mother, not the guy. And there are more role model examples of women which are basically not published. So that does not mean it doesn't exist, but because the females are pressured or dominated in the society, I think that's the mindset which has been over the centuries, since the dawn of humanity, or whenever we came into being. I think it's more historic, and it's absolutely the bias which has been carrying on for centuries. The moment you give equity and equality, so equity is the equal opportunity and equality is the path to that. So the moment you give equal opportunities, equal rights, equal level playing field, then I think in certain cases you will see girls or ladies performing better. Frankly speaking, sometimes I say this, and my friends, ladies and men, sometimes they're laughing. I said, yeah, I'd rather work under a woman boss because they're more responsible. Like in many cases, I find, especially in technology, because I'm from tech industry, so I'll speak for myself. Wherever I worked in plenty of countries, so I'm not talking about a particular society, so Middle East, Europe, Africa, Asia, I have found them to be really, really responsible, very focused. So again, to me, I think it's more historic persecution or suppression and dominance of men, which don't let women come at par with them. And wherever they get a chance, they sometimes get better than us. Okay, so I think I'm taking more of the time, which is not fair. So I'll come to the second question. Nasteo, if you can tell me, my second question is your journey as a girl. So your journey, then your schooling, your college, and then you coming into your professional life. So what has been your journey, and as a woman, what difference, pressures, and biases or sort of discrimination you have seen along the way?
Thank you, Riz.
Over to you.
Juste avant de pouvoir te répondre à ta question, j'aimerais rebondir sur un élément très important de ce qu'a dit Treasa, l'importance du rôle modèle. C'est vrai qu'aujourd'hui, ce que souligne Treasa est hyper important. Aujourd'hui, le rôle modèle, il faut qu'il soit j'ai envie de dire, du quotidien. Il faut que ce soit des femmes sur des sujets et des routines qui parlent à toutes. Aujourd'hui, il ne faut plus sortir des rôles modèles tels que une Michelle Obama ou des grandes dames de l'histoire. Aujourd'hui, il faut montrer que chacune de nous, dans notre diversité et dans notre quotidien, on tire d'autres femmes aussi dans notre histoire. Quand on prend chacune de nous la parole, on prend la parole également pour un groupe de femmes, pour une autre femme. Et c'est cet effet papillon, en fait, qui permet aujourd'hui, pour chacune de nous, de mettre un peu cette petite pierre dans l'histoire de l'égalité femmes-hommes. Pour pouvoir te répondre à ta question, du coup, je reviens. C'est pour ça que je souhaitais remercier quand même Treasa, parce que le rôle modèle est important et il doit être mis en avant au quotidien et il faut montrer que également des femmes autour de nous, parce que des fois, on ne regarde pas, non, spécialement les femmes autour de nous, que ce soit la collègue, la sœur, la cousine. Et on est entouré de femmes et naturellement, en fait, dans notre inconscient, on ne prête plus attention à celles qui partagent notre quotidien, mais on va chercher celles des livres et montrer que celles qui partagent nos quotidiens font également de belles choses. Pour te répondre à ta question, Riz, sur mon parcours et sur mon histoire, moi, je suis née à Djibouti, j'ai grandi à Djibouti, donc je suis arrivée en France en 2007. J'ai grandi à Djibouti dans une culture où finalement la place pour le jeu est pour les hommes et la place pour les devoirs et le travail est pour la femme. Je suis 6e d'une famille de 8, donc j'ai 5 frères et 2 sœurs. Et il y a plein de petites anecdotes de notre culture qui font qu'aujourd'hui, c'est ce que tu soulignais, c'est vrai qu'à l'école, les filles, ils ont de meilleures notes, elles travaillent plus, parce qu'elles sont conditionnées à cela. Là, on n'a pas le conditionnement, on n'a pas le conditionnement, pardon, l'ouverture à finalement le divertissement. Aller jouer au foot dehors, aller jouer au basket, jouer au vélo, de choses qui peuvent être très anodines du quotidien, qui peuvent être très très simples, vont être attention, tu es une fille, attention, la tenue, attention, les devoirs. Et donc forcément, on rentre dans un conditionnement où si tu n'as pas de bonnes notes à l'école, c'est qu'il y a sur toute la chaîne d'éducation, il y a quelque chose qui ne va pas. Parce qu'on doit être conditionné à cette formation académique, à cette formation. Parce que quand je ne suis pas à aider mes sœurs et ma mère, je dois être à travailler pour mon avenir parce que forcément, sur cette route tracée, le divertissement n'a pas sa place. Donc l'importance du divertissement est très importante. Il y a 2 femmes qui ont marqué énormément mon parcours et qui continuent de marquer. L'une d'elles, je n'ai plus du tout de contact. J'avais 15 ans lorsque je l'ai croisée. C'est une femme militaire du porte-avions Charles de Gaulle. Donc à 15 ans, le Charles de Gaulle amarre à Djibouti. Donc fille de militaire, fille de marin à Djibouti. Donc je vais à la visite du Charles de Gaulle. Très beau bateau, très bel uniforme, des hommes tous carrés, tous alignés, avec le petit pompon sur la tête. Donc, on sent que même dans toute la beauté du personnage, qui est le militaire sur son navire qui est imposant, qui parcourt les flots et les mers, on dénote très peu de femmes sur les premiers rangs qui nous accueillent. Et une femme m'a accueillie. Tout de suite, j'avais les yeux écarquillés parce que j'étais là, une femme aussi belle dans sa tenue militaire, sa jupe bien droite, sa tenue bien belle, parmi tous ces hommes et qui se démarque parmi tous ces hommes, me prend par la main, me dit je suis mécanicienne et je vais te faire visiter un peu j'ai envie de dire, les coulisses du bateau en fait. Donc, du coup, je sors de ce parcours ce parcours de visite qui était programmé avec cette femme. Donc, je n'ai plus le nom, je n'ai plus le parcours, mais que je ne cesse de compter son histoire tellement elle m'a marquée. Et donc, elle m'a fait visiter les cas. Elle m'a dit, voilà, je suis mécanicienne, je travaille ici, je travaille ça. Et elle a présenté son métier tellement simplement qu'à un moment, je l'ai interpellée, je lui ai dit, mais vous êtes la seule femme. Donc, j'avais 15 ans. J'ai dit, mais vous êtes la seule femme. Et elle me dit, non, il y a d'autres femmes, mais elles descendent pas. Et je me dis, mais moi, j'étais dans cette optique, dans ce travail, dans mon cheminement intellectuel où moi, je devais monter, je devais sortir de cette ombre et je voulais aller vers finalement, j'étais un peu dans ce cheminement où je voulais monter. Voilà, le verbe qui était dans ma tête, c'est qu'il fallait que je monte. Et donc, cette femme m'explique que les femmes ne descendent pas et qu'elle descend. Et je me dis, mais dans l'image, en fait, l'image à 15 ans était terrible parce que je ne pensais qu'à une chose, c'était de l'obtention de mon baccalauréat, qui équivalait à l'obtention de mon billet, et à cette découverte de moi en France toute seule, en prépa, de me préparer aux écoles, de me préparer au concours, et qui était dans un combat où finalement je mets un pas devant l'autre pour avancer. Et cette femme qui m'explique qu'elle était cette petite souris, ces petits rouages, et sa démarche à elle était de justement ce combat pour montrer qu'elle pouvait descendre dans le bateau. Et donc voilà, cette femme m'a beaucoup marquée. Et c'est pour ça que les rôles modèles, même les plus simples soient-ils, et c'est pour ça que j'incite souvent dans mes prises de parole à ce que chacune d'entre nous regarde les femmes qui nous entourent, parce que des fois, il y a de telles belles histoires qui peuvent changer de nombreux quotidiens. Et la deuxième femme qui continue à m'inspirer, qui est aussi également mon rôle modèle, c'est ma grande sœur. Ma grande sœur, donc, qui a grandi dans le même cadre familial, un même pays, éduquée par les mêmes parents, qui elle a choisi, qui est à Djibouti, qui a choisi de travailler pas dans les métiers de la tech, donc dans nos problématiques professionnelles, on ne se retrouve pas, mais qui est directrice du port de Djibouti, donc une femme qui... Je rigole souvent en parlant d'elle ainsi, parce que je sais que quand elle regardera cette vidéo, elle aura un petit clin d'œil pour moi. Mais ce bout de femme, en fait, qui fait 1,65 m et qui dirige tout un service du haut de son 1,65 m, une direction stratégique du port de Djibouti, et de dire que voilà, il est également dans ce travail des femmes qui peuvent nous montrer que on peut être dans ces directions, dans ces encadrements, et être une bout de femmes qui ont des bras armés, en fait, des bras armés et musclés, musclés comme les hommes, et que la comparaison et la phrase de dire faire un travail d'homme n'a aucun sens. C'est faire un travail, le faire comme une femme, et le faire avec la beauté d'être une femme, avec la force d'une femme, et de le faire tout simplement comme une femme.
Merci beaucoup. That's really profound. I see they're really confident and a brave lady. So coming to Nolwenn, please, if you could give us a brief on your journey. When you were a girl, and then into your professional life. How you have seen the world.
Okay. Me, as I said, I grew up in village. So first I will start by that. Because it is a part of who I am and why I'm so engaged in my different actions. So when I was young, I said I have very brilliant parents, no difference between my brothers and me, and that is very helpful, to be fair. And my grandparents also are very amazing for me. My grandparents, they know the World War, the first and the second. So you take time to discuss with them about what it's happened in the past, and you learn to be humble, to be fair, because listen, our grandparents is so important also for me. So when I was young, many people me, oh, you can't do that. I said, why I can't do that? Because you come from a village. And what is the issue with my village? It's not because I come from a village, I'm a stupid lady. So sorry. So I decided to pursue my own path, to be fair. It was very hard, it's true. I practiced sport at national level. So when I was young, and that it helped me a lot to be very focused and concentrated about my objectives. What do you want to do? What is your objectives? And when you practice sport at national level, you have to preparation all the time. And when it's not a success, it's never all the time a success. So when you fail, officially you don't fail, because you come back and you learn again, and you prepare yourself. And my mindset today in my life, it is clearly that. I never fail, even if I do some mistake, because I do a lot of mistakes with that. A lot of mistake I do, but all the time, okay, you did a mistake, what it happened, analyze, and then change your attitude, change your behavior. So it is all thing I do. So I have when I decided to do a bachelor in electrical engineering, people say, really? Are you sure? I say, yes, I will do it. And I will go in Grenoble. And why are you in Grenoble? You are near Paris. I said, yes. But the best bachelor for me, it was in Grenoble. So I moved in Grenoble. I was only 18, so I was alone. So I have my own flat. I manage all things. And then I said, okay, now I want to do a business school. And even my family told me, why do you want to do that? You have to pay for that. I said, yes, and there's a bank. So I go to the bank and I do a loan. And then I finish the need of my promotion. So, and I decided, because I do a loan, so I have to work a lot. So I decided to work for a big company and discover the data center market. It was an amazing market, to be fair, data center. So I was in data center market since 2005 now, and I speak a lot about the green data center in 2005. So it's a long time personally. I am in this sector and I love it. It's just amazing, this sector. And all the time when I did my different job, because in the list company, I did 7 jobs in 30 years. All the time people, oh, Nolwenn, we can't do that. Why? Why we can't do it? Because, you know, we tried in the past and something, and it's not because we failed in the past, we fail tomorrow and we fail today. So try to do something, stop to complain and do actions. So people sometimes told me I am very straightforward. Yes, it's true. But, you know, if you have an objective in your life and if you have some dream, you want to achieve them. And today, it is clearly what I'm going to do. That's why I have the pleasure to inform you. I am a senior fellow about Open Diplomacy Institute, and my research, it is the link and the transition of ecology and technology. So it is clearly who I am, find the bridge between technology and ecology and between all people. So keep going.
Wow, thank you so much. You know, I'm already feeling under pressure. You know, we have brilliant 3 ladies who are, they seem to be more experienced, more confident, and, you know, more knowledgeable than me. Absolutely. I think one of the points I noticed that I think it's, again, you know, the way I mentioned it, it goes back to history and this gender bias, and gender equity starts from your home. How your parents, how your dad, your mom, your siblings, your relatives, how they differentiate and support a girl and a boy. It starts from there. And in all the cultures, you know, if I talk about my culture or European and African, I know there are deep-rooted biases. So a boy will get certain preferences. He get to go to a different school. No, she's a girl. What's she gonna do? At the end of the day, she's gonna get married. But why? And then, you know, one of those things. Oh, don't run like a girl. Don't cry like a girl. What? So even, you know, there's a difference between crying type. So a girl cries in a different way. So, you know, what I'm trying to say is it starts from the very beginning, from by design. You know, I'm going to stress after every question. So this suppression has been by design as far as the history goes back. So I think it starts from the very beginning. So I'll come to Treasa. Treasa, please tell us about your journey. I know you come from a different part of the Europe, you know, Ireland and UK. You know, it's there are many similarities, but also there's a lot of difference how societies and you know the social norms were quite in certain ways different than rest of the Europe. And women over there have faced actually different type of challenges than a woman would be facing in France or Germany or you know, in Africa. So over to you.
Okay, so I had I appreciate Nasteo and Nolwenn's sharing of their journeys. I had a different journey. I actually went into journalism. So I studied communications at the university. But the funny thing about my career is, apart from 2 years as a journalist, a radio journalist, most of my time I've spent in technology. So I have been working in marketing or communication roles in, I think it's 7 or 8 different companies now in the technology space. I worked in Paris, I worked in Amsterdam, Copenhagen, Dublin, now Stockholm. So my career has brought me around the world, and I think people overlook there are opportunities as well in STEM, not necessarily in the engineering route, but in the marketing communications route as well. So I see myself as helping people communicate around the technology in a better way. So that's kind of my skill set that I bring to the table. And you know, throughout my time in these different technology companies, I have seen that the majority of people employed in engineering roles are men. The majority of people in leadership roles are men. And I know that there was a goal that by 2030, which actually is only 10 years away now, 30% of the workforce would be leadership, females in leadership. And I think we're far, far away from that goal, sadly. So I think it's our generation and the generation coming up behind us that have to step forward, even without the role models. And I loved your story, Nasteo. Even without those role models, I think you mentioned a phrase, I wrote it down, and excuse my French now because it's gone, mettre une lumière, and you were talking about open the windows, and I think that's beautiful. Shine the light and open the windows. I think that's what we need to do. We need to tell people these careers are out there, and they're very challenging careers, and just because you start in engineering in one company doesn't mean that you can't go on and take on different roles and move into different spaces that suit your personality more. For example, currently I'm working in Ericsson. I'm working in social media, marketing communications there. But one of my roles was to go to Athlone in Ireland. That's 20 kilometers from where I was born, in a small village of about 600 people.
Wow.
So very similar relationships there of the small communities. But the interesting thing is Ericsson has a large site there now, and they have like 2,500, I think it is, in research and development, and they give a lot back to the community. So the local schools are invited in. Boys and girls are taught coding at ages 12, 13, 14. They do coding workshops. They bring them on tours. They get to buddy people in real life circumstances, whereas maybe nobody in their family or neighbors are in this space. They get visibility. It's all about that opening the window, shining the light, showing, you know, you can do this kind of job. And it's not like lifting heavy furniture or machinery. It is sitting behind a computer and it's coding. And if you're good at maths, you're going to be good at this. And it's just really that simple message. You can do it. And it looks like this. And this can be you. And I'm proud to say that I met actually a girl who was stimulated by this coding workshop and went on to win EU Digital Girl of the Year 2013, age 13, in the 13 to 15 category. And she developed an app for her sick friend in hospital to help her get over the fear of being in hospital. A 13-year-old girl. So I felt that as quite full circle for me from you know, not experiencing it to standing beside someone who's actually at age 13, you know, being, I think, you know, being called upon by large tech companies and being courted by them for future jobs. So these kind of stories need to go out and be told.
Exactement. Thank you, Treasa.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Treasa. I think again, I personally believe there is not a lack of examples or role models. There are plenty. They are just concealed. People don't know about it, or they just don't want to read. The Google world we live in these days. Even I've seen doctors. If you ask them something, they suddenly open the Google. So I ask people, open Google and check how many women are role models as professionals, as doctors and engineers and scientists, fighter pilots, surgeons, teachers. I remember correctly, I studied in a military school. I'm not lying. Till grade 12, my science teacher, my maths teacher, my biology teacher, they were all women. And they say, oh, men are smarter. But as a man, to me, the role model for as a mathematician smarter, I've seen women when I was a child. And I'm talking about military schools. It's not even a normal school. And other schools and colleges even as well. I have seen women as maths teachers or science teachers or chemistry or biology. So again, I think it's more of a that bias that exists where they are made as I don't know what is the right word, but in my opinion, as a man, I see that we the men and the overall world, they make women as more subject of desire. That's why you're gonna get married, you're gonna stay home, you're gonna cook. But all the chefs we see in the world are men. So why don't the men who work, like the guys who are working for Ericsson, why don't they cook at home and let their ladies, do something else? Why in all the conferences and actually, I personally, I started disliking it. That why in every conference and trade show I go, why they have to have women as hostesses? Why they're not men? So why there's a persona that pretty ladies dressed up nicely you want to put on every stand and like, okay, I'm not trying to be negative, but to me, sometimes it's too much. Like I was at IFA, at Mobile World Congress. I've been attending it for the last more than 10 years. Like what I'm trying to say is this is the bias. This is it's that inequality. It's that stereotyping that we classify women for certain things and certain roles just because they're women, and this because we think that they are subject of desires. No, they're in certain cases they are in combat. They're better fighter pilots. They're in NASA. I was watching that movie about those African ladies back in 60s in NASA. They did those calculations and all the scientific work for NASA. Nobody talks about them. So now we're in 21st century. Now they have, after like, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 years, now they start making movies on them. But they were documented long time ago. Yeah. Why in the subjects, in the schools, in the colleges, these examples are why they're not taught. Treasa said that there are always men mentioned. Why? I just fail to understand. So I'm going to come to a very important question. It's more of, again, how do I say, unpleasant truth, which a lot of people don't like. So I'll start with Nasteo. So I want to know, what are the stereotypes and stigmas you have faced as a lady? But I want to add to the question. Again, I personally feel, and I'm definitely sure that Nolwenn and Treasa would agree, that the bias and the discrimination that exists in the society, in the workplace, and whatever, it becomes even worse if the woman or the lady is of a different race and color, brown, black, Asian, if she's Muslim, if maybe her sexual orientation is different from LGBT. So I want to talk about that particular subject because that goes to a further next level discrimination and sort of sinister ways, the way women are further persecuted and judged. Nastia, please.
Yeah, thank you, Riz. Il y a quelque chose de très intéressant dans ce que tu as dit juste avant de me poser la question qu'il est important de souligner. C'est justement le fait de préciser qu'il y a énormément de ces stéréotypes qui cantonnent la femme à une case. Mais pendant longtemps, en fait, par exemple, si tu prends l'exemple des femmes de la NASA qu'on retranscrit maintenant, pendant longtemps, on n'en parlait pas parce qu'on n'en voyait pas une discrimination, on n'en voyait pas quelque chose de mal, parce que de toute façon, le discours n'était compté que par des hommes, donc ils ne voyaient des hommes, donc ils comptaient, donc il n'y avait rien de mal. Ce qui est intéressant dans ta démarche, c'est ce que tu soulignes, et c'est là aussi où souvent j'ai mis beaucoup d'importance, c'est que le sujet de tout ce qui est autour de la discrimination des droits de femmes et de la présence de la femme, il doit être également vu et porté par des hommes. Parce que si toi, aujourd'hui, tu ne prends pas cette posture d'aller voir et d'aller rechercher, de mettre en lumière, ce type de podcast n'existerait pas, par exemple. Donc, c'est aussi cette démarche-là qui est aussi importante, toi, en tant qu'homme, Riz, que tu puisses mettre en avant ces difficultés et donner la parole à des femmes. C'est aussi le fait de montrer qu'il y a une problématique, de traiter la problématique et de trouver éventuellement les solutions à notre niveau, bien sûr, hein, tout modestement. Hein, voilà, c'est aussi important. Dans les questions de discrimination, il y a deux choses à dissocier. Moi, dans ma posture de femme de la tech et moi, dans la posture du quotidien. Dans la posture de femme de la tech, les discriminations en tant que femme, on ne va pas se le nier, c'est ce qui nous entoure autour de cette table aujourd'hui. Les discriminations en tant que femme noire, j'en ai pas rencontré. Je n'en ai pas rencontré et je ne peux pas d'ailleurs citer de chiffres hein, parce qu'on ne tient pas de statistiques ethniques en France. Mais moi, en tant que femme, je ne pourrais, dans mon expérience et dans mon quotidien, te mettre en lumière des discriminations de femmes noires. Pourquoi? Parce qu'aujourd'hui, la difficulté qu'on a dans la tech, c'est déjà d'exister en tant que femme. C'est aujourd'hui de trouver sa place, de par moment arrêter de justifier sa place, parce que certaines expériences du quotidien sont aussi dans cette catégorie-là. Hein. On en vient même à expliquer qu'on est autour de cette table et qu'on a autant de notre légitimité autour de cette table que nos collègues hommes. Bon, ça, c'est d'autres contextes. Mais la discrimination en tant que femme noire dans la tech, aujourd'hui, vue de ma fenêtre, ne se pose pas. La problématique majeure, surtout, maintenant le plus important, c'est d'abord, parce qu'on sait, on est tous d'accord foncièrement, il y a un problème. Il y a un problème. La discrimination, elle est là. Les différences de paiement, elle est là. Mais ce n'est pas parce que les métiers de la tech n'intéressent pas les femmes, c'est parce que c'est profondément discriminant en fait. Parce qu'on est face à des problématiques qui sont qu'aujourd'hui, dans mes expériences, hein, pour ne pas avoir à citer de situations précises en illustrant tout ça, mais qui sortirait de mon intimité. Mais ce qui est important, c'est que c'est un fait. On nous rappelle souvent que on a 31 ans, on est des petites jeunes, qu'on doit justifier notre place, qu'on doit justifier notre technicité. Parce que c'est vrai qu'un homme de 30 ans qui a le même parcours que moi et autant d'expérience, qui sort de la même école, a déjà acquis sur le même nombre d'années la même expérience, plus de technicité. De comprendre ce que veut dire technicité dans les métiers de la tech, hein, c'est ce qui fait le fondement de notre place. Donc, tout ceci pour montrer que notre milieu est un milieu discriminant d'un point de vue de salaire, d'un point de vue finalement représentativité, d'un point de vue également opportunité, que ce soit dans les promotions, que ce soit dans les opportunités de mission ou autres. Donc, et pourtant, c'est un métier, les métiers de la tech, où il y a besoin de mixité. Parce que l'entre-deux-soi ferme énormément d'usages, ferme énormément de fonctionnalités. Ne pas prendre en compte la diversité dans son ensemble, c'est l'obscurantisme dans la technologie. Parce que l'utilisateur premier, c'est l'homme qui est en face dans toute sa diversité, dans toute sa splendeur, en fait. Et encore plus dans la cybersécurité où la première chose qu'on rabâche au quotidien et tous les jours, et quel que soit le contexte dans lequel on prend la parole, le maillon le plus faible dans la sécurité, le maillon le plus difficile à gérer, c'est l'humain, c'est l'homme. Et l'homme, il ne se définit pas que d'une variante, hein, il est de toutes ces variantes. Hein. Donc voilà, c'est la première chose pour pouvoir te répondre, pour justement ne pas citer de faits bien précis qui sortiraient de l'intime. Après, donc ce que je disais, c'est qu'il y a deux choses à dissocier. Donc c'est moi, ma posture en tant que collaboratrice dans les métiers de la technologie et la posture de femme au quotidien. Voilà. Qu'est-ce que finalement, quelles sont les autres problématiques qu'on rencontre en tant que femme au quotidien? C'est toutes ces petites choses qui sont rentrées dans j'ai envie de dire, dans la discrimination ordinaire. Parce que femme, on ne doit pas faire ceci, parce que femme, on ne doit pas porter cela, parce que femme, on ne peut pas être camionneuse, être sur la route toute la journée. Et pourtant, la crise nous a montré aujourd'hui que toutes les personnes qui ont tenu le front, c'est 80%, c'est des femmes. Ce qui a tenu le pays et ce qui a porté le pays, c'est 80%, c'est des femmes. Et ce qui est intéressant aussi dans notre podcast aujourd'hui, de le faire ce soir, c'est aussi après la prise de parole de notre président, qui aujourd'hui pose cette vision du demain aussi de tout ce qui va être porté par les transformations numériques. Donc la transformation numérique, elle doit se faire aussi dans sa mixité, dans sa diversité. Et notre travail aujourd'hui, au travers de ce podcast et au travers de notre quotidien, parce que c'est comme ça qu'on s'est connus avec Nolwenn, c'est dans nos engagements pour les égalités de salaire. C'est notre combat pour montrer que les femmes en France, quel que soit leur métier, en fait, n'étaient pas payées, j'ai envie de dire pas payées pour leur travail, mais payées à hauteur de ce qui était payé des hommes en face. Et c'est cette rencontre. On dit que la vie est faite de rencontres. Et depuis qu'on s'est rencontrés, on ne parle que de ça. Comment aujourd'hui, nous, avec notre expérience, avec notre force, parce que c'est aussi ça, hein, c'est le micro qu'on puisse nous donner pour porter notre voix, c'est aussi de l'étendre le plus loin possible, parce que c'est pas un combat que nous partageons que toutes les deux, c'est de pouvoir étendre notre voix par-delà nos réseaux et par-delà nos frontières et par-delà tout ce qui fait notre différence, hein, de montrer que, voilà, que deux femmes se sont croisées un jour parce qu'elles avaient les mêmes problématiques et qu'on est des millions à se croiser avec les mêmes problématiques et que ces problématiques-là, elles doivent être connues aussi et reconnues par les hommes et soutenues par les hommes et qu'on puisse partager tout ensemble parce que chacune de notre côté, on mène des combats. Et ces combats, on l'a montré pendant la crise. Les femmes ont porté le pays. Les femmes demandent une justice dans tous les sens du terme, une justice dans leur salaire, une justice dans leur quotidien, une justice dans leur prise de responsabilité, une justice dans leur existence, en fait, la reconnaissance complète de leur existence au travers de leur travail et de leur quotidien. Donc c'est aussi ça qui est important, aussi le clin d'œil aussi qu'on fait en tenant ce podcast dans les deux langues, dans deux histoires différentes, dans des parcours complètement différents. Riz, c'est aussi cette opportunité que tu montres. C'est l'opportunité de la diversité pas simplement de couleurs ou dans la technologie, mais les diversités de langues, d'ouvrir l'écoute à toutes les femmes au travers de ce podcast, de montrer en anglais, de montrer en français, de montrer en noir et blanc, de montrer en toutes les versions que c'est un combat de femmes avec un grand F, parce qu'il faut arrêter de parler d'hommes avec un grand H. Parlons de femmes avec un grand F. Merci, Riz.
Thank you very much. That's really intense. Nolwenn, tell us about your point of view on the stigmas and the stereotypes you see and face. Starting from the family, from the social circles at workplaces. Over to you.
Okay, thank you, Riz. First of all, I would say thank you a lot, Nastya. It's true, we met us not a long time now, but I've shared exactly the same visions about the world. And Riz, I really appreciate you. Treasa, I hope to see you one day also, to be fair. And for all people to know a part of our history with Riz, we meet us on Twitter. So we follow us together, and I follow Treasa now also on Twitter. So we are a tech time traveler community, and we keep in touch all the time. So that is, it's the beauty of technology. And you can be in one part of the world and have some friends across the world. And your friend across the world help you a lot all the time. So many times I have discussions with Riz, personal discussion. So without technology, it was not possible to do this podcast. So it is also the magic of the world of internet, and that is very good for me. So regarding stereotype, I will share different things, to be fair. One thing, it is the main adjective people gave to me. And then I will share some personal experience, because I think we have to speak up about that. And then I will share with you, if you agree, 3 of my role models. And sorry, Nasteo, it is very high level of women, but I need it also. But also 3 great associations who do a lot of work across the world, and that's good. So what I would say first, it is in STEAM, and especially in tech, when you are straightforward, when you love challenge, when you challenge people, and you are not in the emotion, you are factual all the time. People are very struggle about that when we are women, because in not the vision about the woman. Women should be very nice, cute, do some makeup and something like that. Me, is not who I am. So I am very straightforward. I can't say very straightforward, but I am focused. And for example, when I do a meeting, and meeting is 30 minutes, 30 minutes, it is 30 minutes, it's not 1 hour. So how we can be very efficient in our life if we don't take care of our time, and especially of our energy. People do a confusion about time management and energy management. The most important thing in the world, it is manage your own energy. So that it is thing I would like to share. So so the main adjective when you are a lady is something like that, and all ladies know that. All the time people say, you're aggressive. Really, I am aggressive? No, I am not aggressive. I am straightforward. That I can accept. I am direct. That is true, but I am not aggressive. I don't aggressive you. So I know there's also some culture difference. So I work in UK, it's completely different. I work with Chinese people. I work with people in Italy, in the north. So in Sweden, Treasa, to be fair, with North American, with the people in Latin America, so in Brazil, in Mexico, in Ecuador. So, and all the time I have to learn the specificity of country, and I adapt myself all the time about that. It's not the same business and it's the same discussion when you are with Japanese people, with Chinese people, with people who live in Africa. Even if in Africa, it's completely different between Egypt, Morocco, Ethiopia, South America, South Africa. It's completely different. Start to say it is a huge continent, Africa. So not all African people are the same. So it's not true. We don't say that in Europe we are the same. No, we are different and completely different. So that is good for me, but it helps you to learn so many things. We enrich you about that, but unfortunately, people sometimes told me I am aggressive, but so all the time I try to explain it's not aggressive. I'm straightforward. I am focused. I'm concentrated. However, I love critics because it helps me to step up all the time. So I don't say I'm all the time right. Sometimes I'm completely wrong. I do so many mistakes, as I said, but be careful, because many times we said women are aggressive, but do we say exactly the same thing if it was a man? And sociology demonstrates that no. So just look the research, read, so discuss with different people, and we say that yes, we have a mindset that women who are very straightforward and who is a challenge woman, it is aggressive. So that it is one stereotype I live. And the other thing we said, when I was young, not a young professional, I would say. So I think it's something like 10 years ago or 8 years ago. I was in marketing department, and we have a big event with 200 salespeople. So me, I do a presentation. It was 2 days, and it was very nice, lovely, very good atmosphere, good ambience. And around midnight, I decided to go to sleep. And 1 hour after, one guy, he knocked on my door, say, "Nolwenn, can I enter?" I said, "Really? Wow, I'm not your meal." So that was just amazing for me. I realized that, okay, I'm not only a professional here. Some people look at me like, "Oh, I want her. No, God." So, you know, we speak a lot about Weinstein case. And many people are very concerned about what it's happened in the cinema. And it's true, it's very horrible, but we don't speak about what it's happened in tech. So don't think in tech all the time is very lovely. It's not the case. We receive sometimes some video, some information, so it's very hard. We live also some ordinary sexes, and people say, "Oh, it's a job." No, it's not a job. So it's not a job. So it's very hard, but fortunately, to be fair, I was in an amazing company, and they did a lot of things for women. So we have a woman network. They did a very engagement about men takes the voice for women. And I remember one guy, one day in my open space, one guy says very not good. And it is a man who said, "Whoa, how you speak to Nolwenn? She's a human," you know? So it was very and very important for me that, yes, in my old company, to be fair, I am in a safe area. So people take care. We are not here to have some harassments and anything. So it's very nice. And when you feel in a secure area, you can be really who you are. And that is good. Unfortunately, when it is a long time you leave that, I know so many friends, really so many friends, they leave the tech sector. So they use their maternity to say, "Oh, I would like to have a better life balance." But in the reality, when I discuss with them, it's not as they are so tired about the situations. Because, I'm sorry, Naseo, to say that, but you know, gender equity is not a fight. I don't fight. I am not here to do a battle. I'm just here to be who I am. And I would like to be respected about that. So it is something, unfortunately, first of all, we have some difficulties to have some women in tech. And then we have some less women in senior level. But at one moment, around during the maternity, we leave, so many women leave this sector. So we have another issue, it is retain women, how we retain women in tech sector. And that for me is very huge thing to do. There's so many actions, as I explained already, the he for she, women empowerment principle, all time women's network, or so many things to do. And so that is the thing. And to finish, I will share with you my 3 amazing ladies for me and 3 great associations. So the first great lady, and I'm pretty sure all of you know her, it is Eddie Lamar. Eddie Lamar, it is a lady who creates the Wi-Fi. So yeah. Wi-Fi will not exist without women. People should know that.
Absolutely.
And the second lady, who is very amazing for me, and very few people know her, it is Miss Tu Yu. So Miss Tu Yu, she has a Nobel Prize of Medicine, and she is from China, and her life is just amazing. So I invite people to search Tu Yu on the web. It's just a very inspired woman, and she lives again. And the last one, and Riz, I hope you will appreciate it, because personally, just amazing lady. So it is Tasnim Zedwa Hussein. I hope I said correctly.
Yeah.
So this lady is a Pakistani woman to obtain a PhD in theoretical physics. So it's just amazing. And at the same time, she's a writer. So I said, wait, she does so many things, this lady. So for me, when you have some ladies, something like that, and say, okay, what I do is not compared with her, it's not so huge. No, sorry, it's not so huge. I do my own part and only that. So yes, and if you see some great association, I will recommend 3 of them. It is Women in Tech Africa. So it is led by Ethel Kofi. So they work in over 30 African countries to help African women to be technology leader, and they did a very great job. And I met one of them in an event in London, and it is a lady who lives in Dublin today. So it is across the world and just amazing what they do in Africa. The other thing, association, it is Les Éphémérides. It is a French association. It was founded by Fatoumata Kebe. It just go to on the web, see ephemeris. They do so many things to help people to understand our astronomy and what is behind in our sky. And it's just amazing because, you know, we have many satellites, but today around our planet, it's not very funny, to be fair. And there's some danger today about tech, about that, and so amazing. I met this lady in United Nations in Geneva for the Youth Summit for Francophonie 2 years ago. It was just an amazing time. And the last association I would like to mention, it is Women in Games. So Women in Games is an international association who do a lot of things around gender equity and equality and respect the women in game sector. Because when you play all the time, we convey a message. And when we created games, whatever it is a games, mobile, e-games, e-sport, football, whatever the games, you give to people a vision about the humanity. And we should take care about people who develop this game, because you can have some stereotype, some gender bias, and whatever who you are, and whatever your color, whatever your sexual orientation, you should not be considered about that. All of us, we have a brain, we have a heart, and it is only that who qualify us. So it is people I would like to share with you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Nolwenn. I really appreciate your immersive thoughts. Before I go to Treasa, just quickly, I think it's so true that, again, the way women and females are labeled and discriminated and expected to behave and perform things in a certain way, like she mentioned. So, you know, I've seen it as a man that if a guy is rude and aggressive, they call him, oh, he's shrewd, he's pragmatic. But if a lady has a strong personality, she's upfront and straightforward, and they say, yeah, but she's aggressive, and they use another word. Why? And sometimes it's also seen as, when certain things are given or we see them happening for women, it's shown as they're doing a favor. Like Saudi allowed their women to drive, and the way it was advertised and branded as if, and a lot of people were tweeting about it, and they were celebrating as if they have, like they were showing it as if, you know, they found gold. Like it was a basic human right which you have given, and you pretend that you've done something brilliant. No, it's basic thing. It's just like eating food. So it's the same way. Letting a lady to drive is as basic as that. Why you're trying to take the credit and celebrate it, and even in job descriptions, I've did a bit of research, and I've also sometimes work in a research work in the HR side and in tech. The interview questions are totally different for a lady. Like they will ask you, if you're married, you're gonna have kids. What kind of question is that? And why? For example, since I'm going to Treasa, if Treasa and me apply for a same position, we are in the same age group, or even if not, same education, same experience, why the guy will be paid more than the lady? Why? It doesn't make sense. Okay, if both individuals have a different set of experience, or there's a difference in skill set or education or whatever, then it makes sense. But if both apply for the same position and everything is same, the pay should be same. Actually, it should be more for the lady, because at the end of the day, she has to go back home. Like the same working lady, when she goes back home, she's expected to cook. And it's not in third world country. I know I've plenty of friends in all over the world, and it's expected. I don't know why. So quickly, sorry, Treasa.
Yeah.
Coming to you. So I want to know your, the kind of stigma and stereotypes and the weirdness you have faced in your life. Tell us about that.
Sorry, I have a frog in my throat right now. Well, I have to say, I was listening with interest to Nolwenn, and she brought up some very, very strong points there. Some are quite disturbing, but I know that she's not alone, which is a sad reflection on today, I'm afraid. But we do need to stand up for each other, and you were very brave to share that experience. And I think not only women need to stand up for women, but I think it was you as well, Nolwenn, mentioned he for she. I think that's fundamentally important. And I know, for example, I have a friend working in the pharmaceutical sector, and her senior manager asked for a pay review of everybody in the leadership team. It was a leadership team in Ireland. And he realized that the women were getting paid less than the men. So he brought everybody up to the same equal level. And I thought that's just to be commended. Not everybody does that, but it's these small steps that will take us forward. And you mentioned us being connected on technology. I think technology is a leveler. Yeah. It is a leveler for equality, and it is a leveler for the injustice across the world, whereby minorities, I believe, are underrepresented. So you asked me if I experienced anything, not beyond the typical stereotypical comments that we've heard there, but I do feel and I do sense minorities are underrepresented in every job that I've been in. And that makes me wonder why. I don't think they're being discriminated against in the job interview. We, for example, in Ericsson, we're doing a lot of unconscious bias training so that we don't select people who are like us. We begin to really look outside for people who are different, to bring in more diversity, to bring in that extra skill set to make the company better. But I'm not sure there's enough minorities in the pipeline. That's my concern. A little bit like what I was saying about the gender gap, that I don't believe there's enough girls going into STEM. So we'll continuously have this discussion. There isn't enough women in STEM management. There isn't enough women moving into STEM. It has to start at the root. And it has to start with education. And one quote that always stays with me, that's from a very powerful woman, Eleanor Roosevelt. I take that with me when I'm in situations where stereotypical behavior is happening. And I'd like to share it now because I think it might help some people. And it is, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And that's a very powerful phrase. So everybody is equal. Nobody's inferior. And if somebody tells you you're inferior, you only accept that by giving them your consent. So I think it puts the power back into the person and saying we're all equal and we can all do whatever jobs we want. given the right circumstances and opportunities in education.
Wow. I think this is brilliant. I think it needs to, as we all are talking about it, and especially you all are explaining that it needs to start from the start, from the homes, from the growth level, from the school, from the college, from how your parents and how your peers or how your relatives, how they deal with you. I think it stems from that particular stage. It's the starting point, and the mindset needs to be changed. And another point which you all have highlighted again, also I personally feel that also apart from the fact we say that women need to stand up, also women need to stand up for each other. Because of the stereotyping and the pressures that prevail, a lot of ladies, because of that pressure, they keep silent while supporting another woman. That is another point. I have noticed that. I think the moment you stand up and break those mind shackles or stereotypes, they perhaps exist lesser in Europe, more in third world countries because of various issues, social issues, ethnic issues, and whatnot. But I think Treasa and Nolwenn and Nestio said, I think the confidence and standing up for yourself is one of the key steps. And I think the moment you are seen as, because I personally believe that I think it wouldn't be wrong to say that also when women are generally, there's discrimination and also bullying basically. So bully is basically scared from inside. So the moment you stand up and you challenge, so the bully backs out. So I think that's one of the I'll ask all of you. I'm coming to that. So how do we go forward? So it's so important that especially women need to speak up. Men need to speak up. Men need to say this is wrong. And women need to step up and say it's wrong. Something which has happened, which is wrong, they need to step up and say, and they are saying. I think it's a chain reaction, and again, it's going to take time or whatever, but the point is the challenge needs to be there. Otherwise, nothing changes. We don't want this. As a man, if I'm a dad, I don't want to wait for another 200 years, because when I'm going to think that my children or my girls, they're going to move in the same world of men. So I don't want something for them. That's another thinking actually, which I sometimes see, that a certain mindset of certain men in certain societies. So for their own children, they want something better. But for the rest of them, when they go to office, they behave exactly in the same way, in the same biased manner. So that sort of hypocrisy and sort of bigotry that exists in the social mindset, that also worries me. I see a lot of people going to trade shows and all. They're talking about equality and inclusion and all that, all those hashtag words, but they don't walk the talk. So I think if you say something, you should mean it. This is a message for the men. But coming back to the ladies in a session, I want to talk quickly about what do you think, in your opinion, are the steps need to be taken so these taboos or these stigmas they break. What's the way forward, and how quickly, and how more organized and uniformed? What needs to be done apart from all of these associations and all? I think since we're talking about women in STEM and workplace, I think it all boils down to the organization level where the policies and the mindset needs to be changed and enforced. So I'll start with Nesteo. Please, share your thoughts.
Thank you, Riz.
What change needs to be there?
Yeah. Ta question est très profonde et c'est très beau ce que tu viens de dire. Et je vais essayer d'y répondre avec mes mots et vu de ma fenêtre. Il se passe des choses qui sont très très belles dans le monde ces 5-6 dernières années. Là, on est sur la conquête des droits, la conquête de la justice. Beaucoup de pays se révoltent, beaucoup de gens se lèvent pour leurs droits. Beaucoup de combats se font. Aujourd'hui, on est dans une ère où tout ceci est aussi permis par la technologie. Tout est facilité. Le combat d'une personne dans un petit bout du monde est le combat de tout le monde à l'autre bout du monde. C'est ce qui se passe. Aujourd'hui, on est sur l'importation des combats et finalement, on est sur la mondialisation des combats. Quelque chose qui se passe aux États-Unis va mener une révolte à l'autre bout du monde. Quelque chose qui se passe en Afrique résonne au bout du monde. Donc aujourd'hui, on est sur ça. On a cette possibilité de faire résonner finalement, j'ai envie de dire, notre énergie dans ce combat. Mais je vais modérer et modifier mes mots. Je ne voudrais plus parler de combat parce que si on pose le mot combat, on va poser le mot de quête. Et donc dans le mot de quête, on va avoir des pertes et ainsi de suite parce que cette vision un peu militaire. Dans cette énergie qui se passe dans le monde aujourd'hui, dans ces luttes contre les discriminations, les luttes contre l'injustice, les luttes contre un certain nombre de choses, il y a aussi celle qui est des droits des femmes. Celle qui est des droits des femmes j'ai envie de dire, dans tous les métiers, pas seulement celui de la tech qui nous réunit aujourd'hui, mais dans tous les métiers du monde et dans tous les métiers qui sont accessibles aux femmes. Et pour ceux qui ne le sont pas aujourd'hui, doivent s'ouvrir et doivent permettre ces tremplins-là. Pour moi, avec mes mots et avec ma vision d'aujourd'hui, la première des choses qui doivent être faites, c'est, j'ai envie de dire, le rassemblement autour de ça. Aujourd'hui, c'est un rassemblement. Pendant longtemps en France, pour reprendre un peu notre fenêtre, pendant longtemps en France, on parle des pays du droit de l'homme et des droits de l'homme et des droits universels. Et pourtant, les femmes n'ont droit de vote que depuis peu d'années. Et pourtant, les droits des femmes sont posés sur la table que depuis peu d'années. On parlait du droit de vote universel, il n'était pas universel s'il n'y avait que les hommes qui votaient. Donc aujourd'hui, on doit être sur cet aspect où les droits des femmes doivent rassembler. Ce ne doit plus être l'affaire d'une femme ou l'affaire d'un groupe de femmes. C'est faux. Pour donner un peu cette vision un peu personnelle aussi, au sein de ma famille, lorsque j'évoque les questions de droit, lorsque des choses assez anodines arrivent comme « tiens, fais ceci pour ton frère », ça bien sûr, je mets des guillemets, hein, je ne parle pas d'aller rendre un service, ce qui est normal, mais quand on est renvoyé à la posture de femme, mes frères et mes parents en rigolent en me disant « ah ben non, mais c'est Nastéo, elle va nous sortir ses droits des femmes ». Alors non, maintenant c'est fini ça. C'est fini. On est en 2020. Le droit des femmes ne doit pas être quelque chose de moquerie, ne doit pas être envoyé à quelque chose de péjoratif parce que c'est le combat des femmes, parce que c'est une affaire de femmes. En fait, associer ce combat-là et cette lutte-là et cette quête à une affaire de femmes, c'est déjà réducteur. Donc, moi, ma vision, c'est d'abord une vision qui va rassembler tout le monde. Parce que si les femmes aujourd'hui doivent exister, elles doivent être reconnues par l'autre, et l'autre, c'est l'homme. J'ai la chance aujourd'hui d'être maman d'un petit garçon. Je suis quelqu'un de très croyante et ça, j'en remercie le Seigneur. Et je pense que dans ma lutte et dans ce qui fait mon ADN, si aujourd'hui je suis maman d'un petit garçon, ce n'est pas pour rien. Ce n'est pas pour rien parce que c'est peut-être aussi une opportunité qui m'est donnée de pouvoir montrer à mon petit garçon qu'il va porter des valeurs qui vont être des valeurs qui vont aussi porter celle de la femme, finalement j'ai envie de dire celle qui va gommer ces différenciations, cette distanciation, celle qui va gommer tout cela, ou l'opportunité de montrer à mon fils qui va grandir avec une mère qui est engagée sur ces sujets-là, pas seulement pour elle, mais aussi pour mon fils. parce que ça va être le combat de tous, ça va être le combat qui va nous rassembler tous, qui va permettre au travers de la technologie de discuter tous, de pouvoir dire que la situation qui se passe en France est identique à celle que peut rencontrer une femme à l'autre bout du monde en Australie, que ma vision de binationale étant native de Djibouti et française et engagée sur le terrain en France, eh bien c'est aussi ça, c'est qu'il n'y a de frontières que là où on veut les poser. Et aujourd'hui, il ne faut plus poser de frontières sur le combat des femmes, sur l'existence et la reconnaissance des droits des femmes. Et donc, c'est moi, j'ai envie de dire, ma première vision et celle que je prône au quotidien, c'est de rassembler autour de cette quête de droit. La deuxième chose aussi, pour pouvoir répondre au point que tu as soulevé tout à l'heure, qui est hyper important, pourquoi les femmes sont finalement moins bien payées que les hommes, ou l'autre point que tu as soulevé également, qui était de cette surcharge, parce que lorsqu'on finit une journée de femmes au travail, on a aussi notre journée de femmes à la maison. Pour moi, il ne faut pas opposer les deux. Pour moi, il ne faut pas opposer les deux parce que je sois au bureau derrière mon PC ou je sois chez moi, je suis la même femme, en fait. Donc, je déploie la même force que je sois au bureau ou que je sois au sein de mon foyer. Donc, du coup, il ne faut plus opposer en disant que je peux mener 2 combats de front. C'est faux. Je mène un seul combat, celle d'être moi-même et celle d'être la journée en heure ouvrée une salariée et le soir une femme et mère. Pourquoi je dis ça? Parce que très récemment, j'ai eu une expérience personnelle qui m'a quelque peu changée, parce que pour moi, ça me semblait naturel en fait. Ça me semblait tellement naturel que je n'ai pas compris pourquoi une collaboratrice avait ce problème-là. Pour faire la petite parenthèse sur cette anecdote, et je pense qu'elle est aussi importante de mettre en lumière dans tout ce qu'on dit. J'ai une collaboratrice qui avait des difficultés à accepter des missions parce que justement trop loin de chez elle et qu'elle n'allait pas pouvoir gérer sa vie de mère une fois qu'elle a terminé sa vie de femme. Les transports et la route sur Paris sont ce qu'elles sont. Hein. C'est ça pour le coup, c'est international. On sait que c'est difficile de rouler sur Paris et que les transports sont compliqués. Et puis je demande, je lui dis à ma collaboratrice, mais il n'y a aucune opposition à ta vie de salarié et ta vie de mère. Le travail, il est fait dans les heures où il doit être fait. Si tu dois partir récupérer ton enfant et t'occuper de ton enfant et que tu as un travail à terminer une fois que ton enfant s'est couché ou une fois que tu as quelques minutes de libre ou si tu as besoin d'agencer ta journée comme tu as besoin de l'agencer, mais agence-là. Il n'y a pas besoin d'opposer une vie de maman et une vie de salarié. Il n'y a aucune opposition. Enfin, pour moi, ça me semblait tellement naturel que lorsque ma collaboratrice a relevé le point, ça a été comme une claque pour moi en me disant, mais ok, même pour là, il faut aussi démystifier les choses, il faut aussi remettre les pieds sur terre. On est exactement la même personne quand je suis au bureau et quand je suis chez moi, je suis exactement la même personne, avec exactement la même force, avec exactement la même énergie. Donc, lorsque je dois faire mon travail, je vais le faire. Lorsque je dois être mère, je dois être mère. C'est aussi simple que ça. Donc maintenant, je dis à ma collaboratrice et à ma collègue, je lui dis, mais tu as besoin de partir à 16h pour récupérer ton enfant à 17h, t'occuper de lui jusqu'à 19h, et que tu sens que tu n'as pas fini ta journée, que tu as un travail à faire, eh bien, tu trouveras les 2 minutes, et sinon, c'est pas grave, ce sera pour le lendemain. Et s'il faut expliquer que toi, tu dois partir à 16h pour telle raison, eh bien, que ta productivité n'en partira jamais, mais c'est que c'est simplement un aménagement horaire. D'ailleurs, c'est ce qu'on appelle un aménagement horaire. Ce n'est pas une opposition à être femme, en fait, sur différentes circonstances. Donc, c'est aussi ça qui est important. Rassembler autour de ce combat-là, c'est aussi éduquer autour de ce combat-là, en fait. Ce n'est pas qu'un seul aspect de dire les femmes de la tech, c'est aussi on n'est pas des robots. Hein. C'est pas parce qu'on est dans la tech qu'on manipule des robots qu'on déshumanise. Non, on a toute notre histoire, notre bagage, notre énergie, notre source d'inspiration. On a tout cela et c'est pas parce qu'on manipule j'ai envie de dire un robot, mais bon, c'est réducteur pour les métiers de la tech, que tout ce que nous faisons, mais oui, c'est très réducteur. Un équipement, on va dire. Ce n'est pas parce que, voilà, un équipement. Merci, je vois Nolwenn qui... Oui, je voulais trouver un terme qui rassemble tout le monde dans la tech. Ce n'est pas parce qu'on manipule un équipement qu'on déshumanise. Donc voilà, moi, ma posture aujourd'hui, et j'ai la chance aujourd'hui, j'ai une opportunité de fou aujourd'hui, j'ai une chance de pouvoir le faire en tant que manager et je mettrai toute mon énergie autour de ça, sur ces deux choses. D'abord, rassembler sur cette problématique-là et aussi, surtout, éduquer sur ce problème-là. Ce n'est pas une affaire de femmes et ce n'est pas une affaire d'opposition de femmes et ce n'est pas une affaire de dissociation entre être femme au bureau, être femme chez soi. Maintenant, il faut reconnaître que nous sommes la même personne, que nous avons une charge mentale, que nous avons un mindset, que nous sommes une entité et cette entité a 2 bras, 2 jambes, une force. Il faut reconnaître, parce que si on ne nomme pas les choses, on ne peut pas les reconnaître. Merci.
Oh, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. I loved your thoughts. I think once the audience is going to watch that, a lot of eyes will be open. So coming to you, Nolwenn, please explain the way forward. What needs to be done? What needs to be done immediately as well? What are the steps need to be taken?
Yeah, of course. I'm totally agree with what Nasteo said. We are only one. When you are at work, you have your family in your mind, and when you are at home, you are your job in your mind. So you don't have 2 brains, So you are not a robot, to be fair. So we are not a program, and we are not algorithm. So it's not possible to do that. So we're only one person, and thank you so much, Nasteo, to explain that. We mentioned the butterfly effect, and it's true. Technology helps us about that, and we have to speak up. And yes, Treasa, I take probably a risk today to speak about my history and to mention what it's happened in my life. But unfortunately, I know I am not alone, and that it is the main issue for me. So I decided to speak up today. Because I think we have to explain what it's happened is a reality to change it. If you keep our mind, close our eyes, we'll not change anything. So I have to do that. It is what I decided to do because it is a world I would like to see. We are only one humanity. So that's why I decided to speak up. And we have to remember also that it's not because you are a woman, you have to be a mother. It's not mandatory to be a mother when you are a woman. It's just amazing. You can decide to have no children. It's not mandatory. So that it is another stereotype you have to live, when you are young, when you are a woman. And me, I am 35. Okay, so Nolwenn, do you want some children? No, I don't want children. But for you, and your descendants, no, I don't want. Stop to ask me why I don't want children. I don't ask you why you want children. So stop with this question. It's just a stereotype in your mind. So for me, if I can speak up today about that, it would be great, because it's just amazing, this kind of idea that when you are a woman, you have to be a mother. No, it's not mandatory. We can manage our life, so that is good. And I wish another great woman for me. It is Josephine Baker. Josephine Baker is just an amazing lady. And we are, for me, a rainbow community. We are different color, we are completely different, and we have to accept our difference. And that is the thing we have to do today, and especially in this hectic time, accept our difference and respect others. Yes, we are only one humanity. There is one story. The story is different when you are in France, when you are in Germany, for example. We don't say the same thing about the history at school. It's true. And it's true regarding what has happened with Africa, regarding what has happened in China and the relation between China and Russia and China and Japanese. And so speak with others to have your idea and your stereotype about what you have. So if I would say, you know, whatever you said, whatever you do, all the time you will find people who criticize you all the time. All the time. If you do something, critics. If you do nothing, critics. So me, I decided to speak up today because, you know, I meet you, Riz, Treasa, Naz, and I met so many other people around me that, okay, Nolwenn, why are you afraid? Afraid by what? I don't live in Syria. So if me, I don't speak about what has happened today, okay, who do it? So I have an opportunity, and thank you so much, Riz, for this podcast, because it's so great to have one man who takes a microphone and gives the possibility to speak about that. So if it's any advice, it's not an advice, but stop to be afraid. But what it could be happen in the future is uncertain. Okay, so uncertainty, it is a part of the life. All of us, one day, we will pass away. That it is a reality. We are very a few times in our planet. So if you consider that I can't do that in case of, oh, stop. Be happy. Just that. So if you can do something, just keep fun on your life and master your own path, and that is fun. It is a life.
Thank you so much. Wow, I love it. I think the best part is you need to be yourself. You need to be who you are. If you're a female, if you're a woman, you should be what you are. You don't need to act and behave the way they want you to behave. You don't need to have makeup all the time. You don't need to walk a certain way. You don't need to back home after certain hours. Why? Because of the very same fear that has been fed in the minds of the society, the women and the girls, and because of the harassment, because of the sexual harassment, because of the crimes against women, because physically, okay, men are more powerful. But that's it. So just because you're more powerful, so you can carry on snubbing, persecuting, attacking, and whatnot, all the women. So I think courage and standing up is a very important aspect, and I think the understanding needs to be in the minds of men and women both, and especially men when it comes to breaking and changing these self-made and unequal rules and regulations, just to satisfy their ego and their power. I think it's unfair. And I'll go to Treasa, because Treasa, I know you also you've written a very nice article on a similar subject. I think a couple of years back, on how the training and how the girls should be brought up. One point, but another one I would, Treasa, when you mentioned about, I think she was right, and we will probably, we need to have many sessions because it's such a big subject and there's so many issues. I think we need to take time to openly talk about and take head on all of these stigmas and stereotypes and talk about them and speak up. So I'm definitely going to have more sessions on that. Treasa, you talked about the minorities issues as well. I think especially because in Asia, if you go to Middle East and other countries, they're not very foreigners. So it's Europe and the US side where societies have amalgamated foreigners from other countries. Okay, this is another topic which I want to talk, but I'm coming to my question, which Treasa highlighted. Sometimes people say we live in Europe and we live in US, and There are issues with the rights of, since we are talking about women, so foreign women and women of color, and of course men. I asked them, tell me how many foreigners live in Saudi or Middle East or Asia who are citizens. I think zero. Even me being an Asian, me being a Muslim, can't get a Saudi passport. So just don't talk about, inequalities. Appreciate that other societies have accepted people from other countries and they live in freedom. People, I think, forget that the bigotry and this harassment and all of these things, they don't exist in Asia. They're worse. If we need, hours and hours of session if we start talking about what happens to women in South Asia or Middle East. So, I talk a lot. So, Treasa, what needs to be done? What's the way forward? And what are your recommendations?
Well, I think that you all summed it up very beautifully. I particularly like Nasteo's remarks there about, and I'm going to put some words of my own on it. I think there's a collective consciousness in the world right now. And I think it's because we all came face to face with humanity during the COVID-19 outbreak. We all realized we're one people and we're all on this earth, whether we be Muslim, or Christian, or non-religious, whatever color your skin, it doesn't matter. We can all die. And I think that brought us together. I also think that the Me Too movement brought women of the world together. And I think the Black Lives Matter movement is bringing a lot of people together. And it feels like there's this collective consciousness now where inequality isn't really going to be tolerated for too much longer. So my advice is to women to be brave, to step up, to be like Nolwenn today, share your experiences, share your voice, find your voice, because I think finding your voice and being okay with it, your voice doesn't have to be strong and assertive and aggressive. You don't have to wear a suit. You just have to find your voice. Whatever voice that is, that's fine. Don't be like anyone else. Be you. I think we need to stand behind each other and say, it's okay. No. And thirdly, be human. Because I think that is what will set apart our style of management, women's style of management. Hopefully, we'll be more responsible. I mean, look at the Prime Minister of Iceland. She is just held up now as the hero of all prime ministers, 0 coronavirus cases, and she doesn't rule with an iron fist. She rules with an intelligent mind and a heart, and she delivers. So as a role model, definitely she's top of my list at the moment. I love her style, and I think we just need to see more of that. We need to see more brave women standing forward and applying for positions, because I've read women don't apply for jobs if they don't meet 99% of their criteria. Mm-hmm. Men apply for jobs if they meet 10% of their criteria. So we need to be a bit more brave, take that chance and move forward. So I'm very hopeful. And thank you, Riz. I do appreciate this whole conversation. I think it's a very important conversation. As you said, it could be episodes and hours long, but it's good to hear that there is a consistency across everybody's experiences. So thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Brilliant thoughts. And I would also like to say who is my role model. It's the New Zealand Prime Minister. Currently, not as a woman role model, as a leader, as a statesperson. If I have to choose, she's my role model, not even Imran Khan, because you need to walk the talk. You need to show substance as a statesperson, as a statesman or a stateswoman, and you need to have ethics. You need to have character, because when that moment of truth or moment of decision comes, there is where politics goes on the left side and the leadership goes straight. So in short period of time, that lady has shown substance.
Jacinda Ardern is her name, and we should say it.
Yes,
Jacinda
yeah,
Ardern.
Jacinda Ardern.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has shown character and credibility and honesty. So, all the leaders are out there, and especially men leaders, I think, as a man, they are pathetic. I still have to find one leader who is, I can say, can be a role model. I'm sorry, there's none. Not even the Canadian Prime Minister. Maybe 40%, but sometimes you need to rise above the politics and the power. You need to go down in the history by doing something that people will remember for ages and for centuries. So I don't think we have a single leader in the world right now in men. Let's see. But I would like to really, really express my profound respect and thanks to all of you for joining the show on Bourne Space Station, which is sort of a time travel space station where all the tech time travelers, all are brilliant women and men techies. They're passing through the time. We try to lure them in to share their experiences, and they move on and they come back again. So I would also like to request that we're going to do more sessions, and especially there were certain areas which needs to be discussed as a focused topic, because I think we, as Treasa and everyone said, that it's not enough. There are areas which we need to talk specifically. We need to discuss them like as a policy, with facts and figures and what needs to be and how it needs to be done, when and how and by who. I think we all have a collective responsibility as women and men, and unless we all act and join as one, I think things will not change. But Treasa, you mentioned, I think now the times are shaping up where inequalities will not be tolerated, and I think it's by design, by nature. Sometimes when humans are not doing something about it, I think then nature intervenes, and then it happens. So probably this COVID-19, where because everyone is in the fear of dying, regardless of the color, the power, location, whatnot. So positive and negative, suddenly we all are one. So the good people, we feel we are one, but also those who consider themselves different, they're also feeling one. Suddenly it has brought everyone together. So everyone is, suddenly united. But again, I want to say that we humans are, Nolwenn was saying that, we complain about everything. We complain even about God. We don't even leave God. We complain. So, yeah, exactly. So my point is, because of this COVID-19, we are one and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But there's a question I ask, and Treasa and all of you have seen, even on Twitter, sometimes I'm making those harsh statements. Every day, thousands of children die of hunger, the virus of hunger, but nothing is happening. But this one particular virus, which has brought down every powerful man on their knees and economies and practically shut down everything. And we are one. Probably, I think it was the nature's decision to, perhaps show an eye-opener, a mirror to all humans and the men in power, that it's time to wake up. So I seriously feel and pray that I think that's the moment of truth, and I hope that humans and all of us, we think and become one. So again, I really appreciate, and I'm really happy, and I really respect that we all have talked openly and and confronted the challenges and the stigmas which exist in a society. And I think we need to take them head on. There's no other way. And me as a man, as a family person, I am, my full support. And it's when I say support, so it's not that I'm doing something ordinary. It is by design the basic thing I should be doing. It is nothing special. All of the men in this case and all of the women in another subject, we don't have to say that my full support is there. It should be there. We actually don't even have to say. For the right and the correct thing, we should be doing. We don't even have to say. We don't have to say that, I'm there for you, I'm backing this up. I have to back this up. Why it has to come to that point that we have to use these words? For example, I'll finish off with my lecture. Everyone has different opinion on that, but again, Treasa, you were talking about inequalities and all. So we as humans have become so strong and uptight in these inequalities. For example, because these inequalities exist so much that there are certain terms for that. We're going to talk about it in another session, like the term BAME that exists. Why we even need that? We need a term and a classification, so the due rights should be given to those who are persecuted and does not get the equal rights. Why? That means that the more the terms and classifications we define, that means we're already discriminating among each other. This is my personal view. People can disagree, but whatever the classifications we do to discriminate humans, I just simply don't like it. Either it's based on race or color or gender or language or religion. I think those are the things which divide and create hate among humans. So that's from my side, but I would like one ending statement from all the brilliant ladies on the show. Treasa, Nolwenn, and then Nasteo. One ending statement from each of you.
Oh, the pressure. I think we have discussed wide and far-reaching statements here tonight. One final from me is I think I'm going to end on the Eleanor Roosevelt quote because I like it so much. Nobody can make you feel inferior without your consent.
Love it. Nolwenn?
Okay. Well, so personally, I love Shakespeare. To be or not to be, but I will not say that. I will say my own sentence. So I will say be and live and pursue your dreams and respect people.
Lovely. Nasteo?
Thank you. So for my conclusion, I will do this in English. And thank you, Riz, for this podcast, and Treasa. It's good to know you now. Just for the conclusion, I just want to say one word, like at this moment, all people and all hashtag in social media is the hashtag that Black Lives Matter. I just want to say that women rights were the two, and it's time to be together, or to be together for this next step, that we will be all women and men together for the women rights. Thank you, Riz.
Thank you so much.
you,
Brilliant.
Riz.
Okay, all of our Tech Time travelers, it's time to sign off and say goodbye for now. Thank you so much again for joining the show.
Thank you.
And looking forward to having you all very soon to discuss some more tough and challenging topics, talk about some unpleasant truths. But I think we need to keep talking, and we need to keep the actions alive. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
night. And
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Dynasty.
Good night.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Bye.
Bye.